Today I'm going to show you how to make chocolate orange cream biscuits. This makes about 20 biscuits. Firstly, for the biscuits you will need 250 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of caster sugar, 150 grams of butter or margarine, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder and 1 egg. Firstly, in a bowl, cream together your sugar and your margarine or butter. Then add your egg and mix well. Then add your flour and your cocoa powder and again mix really well until it comes together and forms a dough. Then on a pre-floured surface, you want to roll your dough out until it's about half a centimetre thick. Then, having pre-lined a cookie tray with baking paper, I am then going to use a circle cutter that is 5 centimetres wide. You can use whatever size cutter that you have. You can use any shape cutter as well. So if you wanted to make chocolate orange cream biscuits that were the shape of dinosaurs or ponies or any sort of shape you can think of, use whichever cutters you have. Just take the cut out biscuits and put them on the baking paper, making sure to leave a gap in between each biscuit because they will expand slightly in the oven. And you can re-roll the scraps of your dough to get quite a few biscuits out of this. You'll get 40 biscuits, which will make 20 complete ones when we sandwich them together. I did have to do 2 batches in the oven because they wouldn't all fit on one baking tray. Then bake in a preheated oven at gas mark full, 180 degrees centigrade or 160 fan assisted for 12 to 15 minutes. And while your biscuits are cooling, we will then make the cream for the inside. So for the filling, you will need 175 grams of icing sugar, 50 grams of butter and 1 orange. You can substitute the orange for 1 tablespoon of orange juice. Firstly, grate the zest of your orange into your icing sugar. Then you want to juice your orange. I like to just roll the orange on the worktop to try and loosen as much juice as possible. Then measure out a tablespoon of your orange juice. Then to your icing sugar, add your butter. So with adding butter to icing sugar, I usually do use the mixer because it's a little bit of hard work. But from feedback that I've been getting from you guys is you much prefer it when I don't use equipment. So then I can show you kind of the way to do it with a fork and a bowl and a bit of hard work, which I am more than happy to continue doing. So what I did with this is I let my butter become room temperature. So I actually took it out as I started making the biscuits to allow it to come to room temperature. Then I've cubed it as small as possible because that way it's easier to incorporate into the icing sugar. And then just using a fork, just keep pressing down on that butter and it should start to slowly incorporate into your icing sugar. Personally, I wouldn't recommend using a set of electric beaters, electric whisks for this, just because the amount of kind of icing sugar dust you get from it. I much prefer to kind of keep that dust level down by pushing down on the fork. But if you do have a mixer, by all means you can pop it in the mixer, because my mixer has a lid so it stops the icing dust going everywhere. And you just want to keep pressing that fork down into your icing sugar until it starts to resemble like breadcrumbs. So it's still a little bit lumpy with the icing sugar, but don't worry because it will all start to come together. So when it's starting to look like breadcrumbs, at this point we want to add your tablespoon of orange juice. Then start to mix that orange juice in, and you'll find that as you're mixing it in, that butter will then start to cream, and then at the end you will have a lovely creamy buttercream that has really come together and it won't have any lumps of butter in it. As long as you let your butter come to room temperature before you start mixing it, you shouldn't have any lumps in that buttercream. It does take a little bit of hard work and a little bit of effort this way, but it is doable with a fork and a bowl. So don't worry if you don't have any equipment, you can do this. Then simply spread your buttercream onto one of the biscuits and then place the other biscuit on top, making it a sandwich. And just repeat this for all of your biscuits. I did have a fair amount of buttercream after this, but with the measurements that we have, it's harder to kind of mix a smaller amount of buttercream. So if you did want to do a few more biscuits, you can do, or if you want to double stuff the biscuits, by all means, that does taste nice as well. They were getting thicker by the end of this. And there you have it. That's how you make chocolate orange cream biscuits.